Welcome to another video by Ferris Technology. Today we want to understand how to use VBA to enhance your reports in such a way that they make them more readable and usable for your general user population. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a report that I've already written. I'm going to start with the end in mind here and show you what basically the enhancement is. The regular data is all of this category name all the way over to reorder level. That's the data in the report. Now this column over here, this action to be performed column, is the enhancement. Here I was able to put code underneath the text to show what the value or information should be off to the right to tell what action needed to be performed. And you'll notice over here to the left, I have put code in yet a different place to italicize it so that it puts even a little bit more emphasis on the right. Anything italicized has a note off to the right here. So let's show you how I did that. In design view, what you'll see here, first off, this top part is just a text box. And I put that label up there specifically to define what the labels were that I put on the right-hand side of the action to be performed. So basically, if the in-stock plus the order amount was below the reorder level, then you just need to order. And that was the message here. If it's more than 2 times the reorder level, in other words, somebody reordered more than twice since it went all the way down to 0 stock, then we need to sell it down because it's more than double the reorder level. In a typical business, if you let it get to 0, you hit the reorder maybe is 10. But if it's more than 20, that means that we've gotten more stock in faster than what we intended to have it come in. It far exceeds the reorder level. So we would want to then sell it down. Well, I also put in one here that says if it's 3 times more than the reorder level, that we need to put it on clearance because we need to clear out some stock here because it's obviously either not moving or somehow we got a bunch of returns. Something happened to our inventory level and we need to get it back in check and get it back within that reorder amount. So I wanted to put this information on each line so you could see the action that needed to be performed for each particular item of inventory. Now, the way I did that, first off, is to go to the data here and go to the record source. For this particular field, the record source is this formula here. This can also be used in VBA. Here, it's not used in VBA. It's meant to return a value directly to the text box. So I used the switch command and I said if the units in stock plus the on order is greater than reorder times 3, need to put it on clearance. The same thing greater than record level times 2, reorder level times 2, sell it down. If the units in stock are less than the reorder level, we need to just reorder. Now, the order of each one of those was particularly important because in the switch command, if it finds the value in the very first one, it skips the other 2. So I had to put the most out of whack formula as first. In other words, times 3 was first, because if it's times 3, it would also be times 2. If I put times 2 first and it was actually times 3, it would trigger the times 2 and it would get the wrong message. So times 3 is first, times 2 is next, and then below the reorder level is third. And as long as it's in that order, it gives me the correct message based on the data. The other place that has a formula too is the product name, which I wanted to italicize. Now the italics on the product name had to be done in VBA code. And so if I go here to the event triggers and I have the event trigger actually in the detail header, and the event trigger is on format. And in the code, then I specifically specify the product name. So here on detail format, I say if in stock plus units on order is greater than times 2, then I want to take the product name and italicize it. So the font italic for that field would be set to true. Now, or else if those two added together are below the reorder level, then I also want to italicize them. Now, the issue here with the format for the field is that every single field that comes after I set it to true for italics would be italicized. So I also have to put, even though the two conditions are greater than a certain amount and less than the other amount, I also have to put a condition in there that says if it doesn't meet either one of those conditions, make sure it's set to false. That way it just makes sure it's set to false if the previous record was not italicized. But in case the previous record was italicized, it then sets it back to false so that it's properly set to just the normal font. So with these two conditions here, note that I did not have to have a ×3 condition here, because anything above 2 is also above 3, and I want to italicize both above 2 and 3, so I could just set the lower value and italicize anything ×2 and above. And then, of course, below the reorder level needs an action, so it's set to italics. And so that's my simple snippet of code. You could put this on any detail record. I could have italicized everything all the way across. I could have then italicized even the unbound text field where I had the formula put in there. I could have italicized the whole line if I want. All I would have had to do is put more information here and substitute each of the other fields there for product name and have a whole list of the items to italicize all the way across. And I could have italicized the whole row if I wanted to. So with that in place, you can see now that I want to italicize this if it's got a condition. I have my message over here, and all I had to do at that point was to make sure that the message matched the rows that I italicized it in. So when I go look at print preview and I see, well, the top one is italicized, I scroll on over here and need to put it on clearance because the reorder level is 10, and I would have expected no more than 20 in stock, and there's 39 in stock. This one's italicized. It says I need to sell it down because the reorder level is 25 and I have 57. I would expect to have 50. Now it's not 3 times so that I'd have to put it on clearance, but it is between 2 times and 3 times. So therefore I sell it down. The next condition is to make sure that I have no italics on the items here. That the reorder point is 15. It's between 15 and 30. We're good to go on that one. I do have one down here that check that condition. Need to reorder. The reorder condition is 30 and the total amount of stock is 25. So that's a need to reorder more condition. Now, the interesting point here is that even though it gets down to 30, you don't have to order 30. It doesn't say that you have to order the amount of the reorder. It's just that seems to be a good amount to base the rest of the messages on. So all the way through the report, it puts those messages and tells me what to do with each of the items. It goes on to a second page here, and we're still italicizing. It's a pretty neat and clean looking report. You can do anything you want. Notice I've got down arrows here. Those are identified in the character map. I go find the down arrow that I want, copy and paste it into my message here, and it works just fine. So if you gained something out of this video, please hit that like button. Hopefully you're subscribed already, and if not, please subscribe to the channel and help us grow, and hope to see you again later. Thanks.